It's Tuesday, everybody. That means it's time for Knights of Eveningstar. I think, did we almost get a bit of white text friend there, or was that somebody else? I'm not sure. But somebody was there. But anyway, it's time for Knights of Eveningstar, everybody. Welcome. I'm Mark Hulmes, also known as SherlockHulmes. I'm the Dungeon Master for this here little show on the D&D Twitch. I'm joined by these wonderful people. Here they are. I'm joined by Mr. Nate Sharp, Mr. Jonathan Indovino, aka ShadyPenguinn, Anna Prosser, and of course, Mica Burton as well. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Well, hello. How are you on this Tuesday, Nate?
Chewy.
Nice.
Why have we done this? What is happening here?
I don't know. Blame White Text Friend. They started me off, and then that's it. It's down to them. But yeah, how's everyone? Good? Everyone ready?
Ready to roll some dice and be a little, what was it again? Pixiemon?
Pixiemons. Yeah, Pixiemons.
We are not a $70 million NFT scam.
There it is.
Clarification.
Just so y'all know.
Didn't think of that, but a good clarification to make there, Nate. Thank you. But yes, it's a very original thing. We'll get into that. But perfect. All right. Well, unless there's anything you guys want to talk about, any exciting thing to bring up, or any unique fact or cool thing you've been up to that you want to share with us in the world, because the world is watching.
Naruto.
All good?
Yeah.
I got a new plant.
That's very exciting.
Nice.
Wonderful.
It's a Monstera.
Yeah, I was going to say,
plant.
my fiance's got a big Monstera.
See?
I recognize those leaves.
That's all I have.
You can also get those in Animal Crossing, which in my opinion makes it an even cooler plant.
It's so true. All the plants that I have in my room right now, you can get in Animal Crossing.
Right. Okay. You're bringing Animal Crossing to life in your own lives.
Something I appreciate about Mica is that when I turn on my Switch, at some point, Mica will also turn on her Switch and be playing either Pokemon Legends Arceus or what I just said.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
Animal
thank
Crossing.
you.
Yeah, it's true. Last night you signed on when I was playing Pokemon, and I was like, "Hi, Anna."
And I am also either playing Animal Crossing or Pokemon Legends Arceus. So
True.
it's like we're always playing together.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Me personally, I spend my time playing Dungeons and Dragons from the lovely people at Wizards of the Coast. Thank you for continuing to not cancel this show.
My favorite tabletop role-playing game of choice.
I'm sorry.
Perfect,
Did
Nate.
I say Animal Crossing? I meant Dungeons and Dragons.
I too meant Dungeons and Dragons, the only game I ever play. Who plays anything else other than this?
That's the new intro. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons, the only game.
That's it. The only game.
Well, at least what we can do is we can bring our favorite things from outside Dungeons and Dragons, and we can bring them into Dungeons and Dragons, and then we just give them different names, and that's how we get around that problem. So it's all good. Speaking of which, shall I do a quick recap on what happened last week before we continue playing? Please, Mark, please.
Considering that I just forgot the name of Animal Crossing, I think definitely I'm going to need a recap.
The only game.
The old Dungeons and Dragons. That's what she meant again.
Welcome to the only game ever.
Moving swiftly on.
Thank you.
Last time, Clyve of the Wildmane, Warrior of the Feywild, Warden of Eveningstar, has gone on an important solo mission to find a way to make cats big. Having travelled to the Feywild via a Fey crossing, Clyve met Sage Delecia, the Pixie Professor, who gave Clyve 3 magical companions to travel with him, and these pixies were based upon Agnis, Azara, and Tarkhal, as Clyve sought out an individual known as the Summer King. Learning that the Summer King was hunting the Jabberwock, Clyve set out to explore the region, encountering some red-cap ruffians, a satyr schoolboy, and a happy-go-lucky unicorn centaur. Clyve earned himself some apricorns and encountered some wild pixies, along the way, but eventually tracked down the hunting party to a nearby watermill where Clyve met once again with the Summer King. As the Summer King's own knights were struggling to harm the Jabberwock, Summer King has encouraged Clyve to give it a go. And that is where we are going to kick off today with Clyve and his 3 pixies, Sparkle, Charcoal, and Sneaky Boy. The three pixies that he has been accompanied with as we jump into a battle against the Jabberwock. To set the scene, you are on the banks of a river, rushing through this kind of glorious, magical forest realm. Imagine that the ground is, everything here is almost like the saturation's being cranked up to 200%. Everything is very bright and glowy, very ethereal kind of in place. The trees seem unnaturally sized and unusual. All very, very bizarre, very magical. You can imagine what Feywild would be like. But in the middle of this, on the banks of the river, is an old watermill with a huge turning wheel, perched on top of which is this long, it's like a dragon that's been stretched out in all different dimensions, this incredibly long twisting neck, these long thin wings and long limbs with these giant big sort of like almost like cave fisher, what do they call those fish that like hunt underwater with the big sort of light on top?
Oh, the anglerfish?
Anglerfish eyes. Thank you, Mica. Anglerfish eyes. And you can just hear it muttering and babbling to itself as it kind of perches on top of this watermill. You can see the bodies of various unconscious elfin knights around you, Clyve. And that is where we are going to pick up today. And I would like... I don't want to give my hand away, but I would like all of you, so Azara, Tarkhal, and Agnis, roll initiative as if you were your own characters. Keep using the pixie stats, but use your own character's initiative, if you would, please. Why are you shaking your head, Shady?
Because I rolled a crit, and I just don't like wasting my crits on initiative.
Well, no, that's fine. All right.
Also, all crit as fairies. I want to point that out.
Yep, you did. Yep. So what are we looking at? What was your total there, Shady?
22, I believe, then.
22?
Because of the fairy stat.
Yeah. And then Azara, what are we looking at?
11.
11. Perfect. Well, at the very top, kind of reacting to all of this, Sneaky Boy the Pixie, you are the first to respond as, Clyve has strode forward, drawing his weapon to face down this thing, which is perched on top of this large watermill, which is probably about maybe just about 10, 15 foot high. It's not like a double-story building. It's kind of a squat farm-like building.
Okay. Only clarification I do need is we have not rested yet since the last encounter with that wild Pixiemon that I stabbed, right?
I believe so.
Okay. So I don't have any shadow strikes because I'm all out of pixie points. So I will then instead, I think I will go for a smoke cloud just to
so
make.
You're going to fly up as close as you can get, and then you're going to try and sort of smoke cloud. Yeah, you can easily get there with fly speed. So you fly up in front of this thing's face, and you kind of, all this kind of green mist pours out from your cloak. And remind me what your move does, please.
It makes it so that the opponent has disadvantage on its next attack, and if it was poisoned, I would deal a damage.
Okay, it is not poisoned, but yeah, this thick smog kind of fills the air in front of the Jabberwocky, kind of confusing its senses and visions, and does indeed give it a disadvantage on its next attack, which is a good thing because it is the Jabberwock's turn. Now, as a pixie, Tarkhal, or I should say Sneaky Boy, you are not affected, but there is some sort of sense, as you get close to this thing, you can just hear it kind of like kind of burbling and gibbering to itself in nonsense. It's like just speaking words like gobbledygook, just complete nonsense language. You are immune to this effect, so it doesn't bother you because you're just a pixie, but it's something to be aware of. And it kind of doesn't seem to pay much attention to you, Sneaky Boy. It kind of just like bats you away. Instead, it is going to kind of coil itself around sort of the chimney. It kind of moves over to this, curls itself around the chimney, and then you watch as those two big white anglerfish-like eyes seem to pulse with light. They flash like a couple of times, and then fiery beams of light are going to project from them down towards Clyve of the Wildmane. And I need Clyve to make a dexterity saving throw, which he will have advantage on because he sees this coming and he has danger sense.
All right. So let's see. How do I do it? Oh, advantage. Wow, it's never been easier.
It's never been easier, thanks to D&D Beyond.
That is 18.
And 18 is just barely enough. As you kind of throw yourself to the side, you do get a little bit singed. You're going to take half damage as these beams of fire shoot out of the Jabberwock's eyes and go to scorch you. That is going to be, so it'd been 36, which would be halved to 18 fire damage as this kind of big line of fire just kind of scorches into you. And yeah, strikes you.
Great.
Nice. Agnis Crownsilver, also known as Tarkhal.
I think I'm out of a lot of things too. So I think what I'm going to do is use Fiery Flash.
Okay.
And increase my AC by 2.
Okay.
For 1 turn.
Nice. Cool. So we see
I guess
this
it's
little...
my next turn.
Yeah, until the next turn. Yeah. So until then, you'll get your AC increased. So you watch as kind of the little pixie Agnis kind of flares with light, kind of like pulsing, and like little flame armor sort of appears around her, coating her, and she sort of bursts into flame, boosting her a little bit. At the end of your turn, Pixie Agnis, this thing is going to... no, it's not going to do that, actually. It just kind of takes its time. So we go to Clyve of the Wildmane.
Okay, so he's on a roof.
He is.
Would I be able to in any way? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna rage.
Okay.
So
see what that does?
Yeah, we're gonna see what that does.
Yeah, the as like the world around you is like boosted in saturation, we begin to see all these like lights and flashes appear around Clyve as some unusual magical effect is going to take place.
Magic infuses one weapon of your choice that you're holding until your rage ends. The weapon's damage type changes to force, and it gains the light and thrown properties with a normal range of 20 feet. Actually, that works.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I'm raging.
You need to move up a little bit. You're a little bit far away, but if you move a little bit forward, you would definitely be able to strike this thing. So if you sort of move to the base of the little water mill here, you can sort of throw it up into the Jabberwock.
Okay, let's see here. I'm just looking at it. Doesn't let's see. If the weapon leaves your hand, weaponry. Oh, it comes back. Sweet.
Yes, I imagine it's like a boomerang.
All right, so I'm just gonna yell at him, be like, "Oh, the glory in the puppy's blood, I'm a slaughter his best," and then I'm gonna yeet. Clyve raging now.
I didn't even understand that. Yeah.
Clyve raging now. The accent's too thick. It's just completely
That's nice. It's like somebody from real rural Scotland. Like I've known a few people like I know I've quite a few friends from Scotland, and like, I can understand it quite well. But when you get somebody from like deep country Scotland, like I'm like, sorry, what was that? What did you say?
Oh, like that one dad in Brave. Remember him? Nobody could understand what he was saying.
Yep. Nice.
So can I yeet Ebonscorn at him?
Yeah, that's what your rage thing says. You get a range of 20 feet, light thrown, so you can just make a weapon attack with it.
That's a 15.
15 to hit will not be able to pierce the Jabberwock's armor, unfortunately. The kind of boomerang sword kind of flies through the air like a spinning blade. It doesn't quite cut through the thing's flesh and then snaps back into your hand, because you get like 2 attacks, right? So.
Oh, okay, cool. Then I guess I'll try again.
Okay.
All right, never been easier.
It's never been easier.
28.
That will hit for
Alrighty.
sure.
Okay, So,
And this is a dragon, Clyve, so you get to add an extra D8 of damage to this as well. This is a dragon.
sick. All right, so let's
You
do
feel Evan's
the
scorn.
let's do the base. Roll. Let's see. Okay, so that is 9, and then another D8.
Yes, plus your rage, which is 3, right? So that 9 would become 12.
Mm-hmm. So then,
And then
12
plus
plus
another
8,
D8.
which is 4.
Another 4 points of damage. So the blade, this time, you throw it and it spins around again, it does cause almost like an impact as the damage has been changed to force. Like whatever magic empowered your weapon to allow it to fly and throw through the air, it impacts into the creature and it kind of as it kind of like reels its head back. But you do see because the damage was force, some of that wound is beginning to heal and regenerate. You can see like the flesh slowly beginning to knit back together again as you throw it. And you just hear the Summer King just be like, a fine hit, boy. Yes, very good, very good. As the sword flies through the air and then whoosh, snaps back to your hand, Thor Mjolnir style. But yeah, it does let out this like horrendous screech as it does so. Then we go to spot at the end of your turn. In fact, actually, Clyve, at the end of your turn, this thing brings its tail around and it's going to try and slam its tail into you. It will have disadvantage because of Sneaky Boy's smoke cloud. So that is going to be a 16 or disadvantage, so 16 to hit.
That does not.
Okay, so you raise up the shield of Eveningstar, and it kind of slams into it, but doesn't manage to hit thanks to the cloud of smoke throwing off its aim.
However, if I see an attack incoming, would I be able to like jump into it to take the damage?
You can choose to take damage if you don't want to. If you want the attack to hit you, you may allow it to hit you.
Yep, I would like that.
Is this the first time that's ever been asked in D&D history? DM,
Genuinely,
excuse me.
I
want to take
like
the hit.
to be hit. Yeah, I don't think I ever have had that situation, but okay. That's going to be 14 points of bludgeoning damage, which you would half because you're raging, so that's 7.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
okay, and now I would like to roll on Unstable Backlash.
Yeah, I figured that's why you were asking.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
That is a 6. Until your rage ends, you are surrounded by multicolored protective lights. You gain a +1 bonus to AC, and while within 10 feet of you, your allies gain the same bonus. So +1.
Hey, that's pretty good. +1 AC. Nice.
Nice.
That was at the end of your turn, Clyve. We then go to Sparkle.
That's me.
That is you.
Can I fly all the way to the Jabberwock?
I believe so. 45. Yes, you could just about get there.
I would like to fly over there and take my little pixie hands and smack his cheeks and shocking touch him.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. You know what? Everybody's also using It's Never Been Easier. I, too, will never be easier. Wait. Hold on. That's going to be an 8 because +2, so I'm guessing that doesn't.
You kind of just slap the dragon's cheeks and it kind of looks at you and it like goes to like bite and snap at you and you have to fly back as you just kind of annoy it for a brief moment as you basically just slapped it on the face. And then it just kind of snaps at you and then it turns its attention back down to Clyve.
You gotta hit it harder.
Spy.
After Sparkle's turn, the Jabberwock is going to make another attack against you, Clyve. In fact, this time its long neck is gonna stretch out to its full reach, as 10 foot of reach with its long neck, and it's gonna try and bite you with this. That's only a 14 to hit though. So you managed to kind of like shove the blade into its mouth or shove your shield into it and kind of fend it off. Unless you want to be hit by this one as well.
No.
Okay, nice. But as it kind of like reaches back after taking its legendary action, it lets out this mournful, almost sad wail, kind of like a whale song. And that's when you begin to hear the rustling of trees coming from nearby as you see another similar shape take to the air as a second one of these creatures kind of like flies out from the tree line. It's going to spend its whole turn basically flying to its current location on the map as it dashes and does all of that stuff. But it flies in, and you now see that there are two of these things. And at this, the Summer King kind of puts his hands on his hips and he looks around. He's like, "Well, this isn't bloody fair. I didn't think there'd be two of them. Hold on a minute, Clyve, my boy. Let's see what I can do here." And he is going to reach up his hands, and with a weave of Archfey magic, he's like, "Oh, I know what to do. You've seen that you've got a few friends already. Let's see if I can bring them here." And with a click of his fingers, the three Pixiemon versions of Agnis, Tarkhal, and Azara, the three of you, the real Agnis, Tarkhal, and Azara, whatever you happen to be doing, and I will leave this to you.
Oh no!
You are pulled into the Feywild, and you land wherever your pixie versions were. And while I replace you on the mat, you can figure out what you were doing.
What time of day was this?
Back
home?
What time of day would you like it to be?
I'd like to think it's the middle of the night.
I was hoping that too.
And everybody's like in their pajamas. I'd like to think Azara's like in her dressing gown and is now on a roof.
Okay, that means make sure you remove any armor you're wearing then, because you would not have any armor on.
Fuck! I don't have armor.
But sure.
I don't have armor.
You did. You got some adamantine breastplate, I think.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I don't know if you've been
right.
wearing it, but you've definitely had it.
Y'all don't sleep in your armor?
Most people don't.
Most people don't.
Tarkhal sleeps in his light leather armor because it's light leather, so of course he sleeps in it. Obviously,
well,
honestly,
if it's adamantine, that means it's light.
No, adamantine.
No, is that heavy?
Mithril makes it light. Adamantine is very sort of like sturdy and heavy. Tarkhal, I can see being awake in the middle of the night. Like,
I was going to say most likely
brooding.
Tarkhal's still brewing and listening to Simple Plan.
All right, I'm taking off the breastplate, but everything else. She always sleeps with her staff with her, so she has her staff with her.
I would say that you have enough time to like grab things like your weapons or your staff if it's nearby and things like that. Like you feel yourself being pulled in to like a swirling portal. You grab your staff and you're like yank through. And Azara would know this, and I think Agnis, you would feel this very deep natural power. There is this, this real fury of like magical nature pulling you through. And Azara, you would be like, this is Fey, and then you're pulled through by Archfey magic, basically.
Agnis definitely. Agnis is a very slow to wake person. We've
had this established.
So this is definitely like Agnis is popped into existence like sitting on her butt on the ground as though she's just sat up in bed, and definitely like Princess Anna from Frozen hair, and like
there's probably like your bed sheets and your pillow are next like with you. They got sucked through with you, right? So like you are just sat there in like whatever night gown or whatever you were wearing, and like there's pillows and a blanket,
and she's doing this where she's like trying to understand what she's looking at.
Nice. And then we see that, and then you hear the Summer King going, "Oh, there you go, my lad. Even the numbers a little bit for you there. That should help if there's two of these bloody things. Anyway, good luck. Have fun."
Hop in randomly on this scene of like Clyve with his sword in a dragon's mouth and just welcome to Feywild.
Yeah, so like Tarkhal and Azara, you get that image, right? Of like you guys pop in on a roof. Clyve's like on the bottom, and there's this weird ass, long-necked, creepy looking dragon like trying to eat Clyve. You've popped onto a roof. You probably slide almost falling off it, and then you look down, and on the road is just Agnis like with a blanket over her, and then behind her, like behind where Agnis can't see it, there's another one of these creepy dragons flying in, and that's what you see. That's the vision that you behold before you, and we go up to the top at Tarkhal.
What a great morning!
Oh, what a good morning. I think I would I'd look at Clyde and be like, are there always this many dragons in the Feywild? And then I'll just, after I say that, I'll throw my Kiss of Silver towards the dragon too.
Okay. Technically, you have an ally. I'm also, do you know what? I think this counts as a surprise round because I don't know. Well, I think this counts as a surprise because I don't think this dragon was expecting the pixie to become a living man.
That's awesome. Okay,
In response to him, Clyve's just like, not usually. Must be my birthday.
I rolled a 23 on both of those total.
Okay, that is a hit, which means it counts as a critical hit because of assassinate.
Cool. So it's base 38, and then I'll roll.
Jeez.
Yep.
This,
then just roll your damage again, basically.
which is 5 plus
43.
18, so 23.
So 23 on top of 30.
On top of 38. Yep. So 61.
61 points of damage. Wow. So yeah, Clyve, Tarkhal, you pop in, and probably being the most awake, the other two still kind of like blinking their eyes and waking up. You pop in and like sensing this immediate danger. You flick out Kiss of Silver, and this dragon is not expecting you to be there, and it cuts right through into a part of its chest. But you also begin to see that wound is already beginning to try and heal. Like this creature is regenerating as you do that. But it definitely is a heavy blow. Like the creature kind of reels back and will definitely be angry that such an event has taken place.
Cool. I like angry dragons. I will then proceed to attempt to kind of run across the roof, and it looks like this is like a lifted area of the roof on the right side of the roof. So I want to attempt to use my bonus action to hide underneath those tiles.
Okay, yeah, sure, go for it. Make a hide attempt as your bonus action.
Oh no. 2 plus stealth is 12. 14.
14. Okay, well, you think you've hidden. You kind of like pressed yourself up against like the little chimney or like little stack of tiles, hoping that it hasn't seen you. At the end of your turn, Tarkhal, I'm going to very quickly reveal that this creature does know where you are, because it needs a tail with its long, sinuous tail, because you are just within its reach, I think. Oh no, you are just out actually. So it won't do that against you. But it does seem to know where you are. Instead, it is going to tail attack against Clyve at the end of your turn. So this is against Clyve. That's only a 14. I can't roll above 10. So it just kind of smashes against Clyve's shield, or it like kind of gets deflected. That's the end of Tarkhal's turn. On its turn, you do see some of its wounds heal up, and then it is just going to take a little shimmy to the side, staying within Azara's threatened range. And then it's going to make 2 attacks. It's going to try and bite Tarkhal, and it's going to try and bite Azara. So against Tarkhal, that is going to be a 1. So an 11.
That just barely missed.
Oh, my dice roll's so good. 18 to hit Azara, though. Sorry, Mica. Yeah.
Is that with the +1 to AC?
That still hits.
Yeah. With no armor on, I'm pretty sure that's still probably going to hit.
Forgot.
Listen, the armor only added 1, so let's be real here.
Oh, this isn't a bite. This is like with its long, sinuous, claw-like hands, it slashes you, and it's going to be 22 points of damage, Azara.
Ow!
I'm also going to see if its fiery gaze recharges. It doesn't. That was its turn. Agnis. Sleepy.
I have an idea for something that would be so cool if it worked, but it probably wouldn't.
Sure.
The new monster that's just arrived. Would you consider that to be engaged with me and my friends? Is it fighting me and my friends?
It is definitely hostile to you and your friends. Well, it looks like it's rushing to defend the other Jabberwock, which I would say makes it hostile to Clyve, Azara, and Tarkhal for sure.
Well, hostile is different than fighting with. You know what I mean? Hold on.
Why don't you tell me what you're trying to do?
Hold on, I'm trying to find the spell. I lost it. There it is. It has to make a wisdom saving throw and does so with advantage if you or your companions are fighting it.
What spell is it?
Charm monster.
I think that it is fighting you guys. It's still a good spell, because if it works, it'll be great. It's Charm monster.
And it would have to hit wisdom 16.
Can't tell you what to do.
I know, but it would be so funny. All right. I'm going to try it. So what actually is happening lore-wise, though, is Agnis is still kind of waking up, She has her little blankie and she kind of like pulls it up next to her and she's kind of like drifting off again. And the new monster comes in and sees her. And it's so cute that it is compelled to want to protect her and like curl up around her and be her friend.
That's super
So
valid.
you let out a sort of almost unconscious magic, really.
Mhm.
This isn't like casting a spell. This is like a, just a natural thing, like reaction, but still using the spell slot. You do this. It is immune to being charmed, unfortunately, because this thing seems to be like you get this sense, and I'll reveal this. It doesn't seem to be a particularly smart or wise creature, because as it gets nearer to you, you can just hear this like maddening babble, just like blah 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 blah, as it's just like talking nonsense.
What a
and it seems
waste.
that whatever conscious thought isn't there. I'm sorry. That's one of those things where I was just like, when you said it, I was like, you can do what you like, but I can't say it's immune to charm. Would you like to move, or are you still just sort of like looking around like sleepy dream time?
I'm gonna stay where I am.
Okay, nice. At the end of your turn, the Jabberwock on the roof is going to try and claw Tarkhal, because I keep missing him and it knows it's there and you hurt it really badly. So it's going to go a 26 to hit.
That'll hit.
That
I
will
cast
hit.
Uncanny Dodge.
Uncanny Dodge. Well, that will be 22 points of damage, so you would half that to 11 with Uncanny Dodge, because this is an attack, so it will work. But that is at the end of it. And Clyve of the Wildmane.
Is there a way I could get up there and still attack?
So this building's only like 15 foot high, really, like from the roof, or like that part of the roof to where you are. So I would say, like, yeah, for Clyve, climbing up this like kind of old cottagey building wouldn't be particularly hard. It would just it would basically cost all of your movement to get to the very top. So like to get to like next to Azara like that, basically.
That's fine.
I don't know if you've got increased movement, actually, because like that's assuming a 30-foot movement. So
no, I have 45.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you could easily get next to it then. Yeah, you can like basically clamber up, sort of like digging your claws in and using the sword to kind of like carry yourself up. You hop up onto the roof and then you dash forward the last 5 feet to engage with it.
All right, through the throat it goes then. And I'm going to stab him with Abner Scorn.
Yes, please do. Yeah, do that, and then I will have this go off.
And I would like to attack recklessly.
Oh, give yourself that advantage.
All right. Boom. And roll. That really 16.
Is that with advantage?
Yep.
Oh, 16 is not enough. So you swing Evanscorn wildly, but there's just, the climb up here, the wild swing. This thing is so thin and sinewy. Its body moves in like really erratic ways. Like it's kind of just, spasming all over the place. Like its long body is just kind of, doesn't seem to be reacting in a way that you would expect it would. And that unfortunately causes the swing to go wide.
All right. Well, I'm going to try again.
Yeah, absolutely.
18.
18 will just barely hit this thing. So the sword, and it's no longer dealing force damage, right? So this would be dealing slashing damage. So yeah, the sword actually bites into the thing's flesh, and you hack through part of its neck, but not quite enough to cleave all the way through, but definitely a serious wound. And it doesn't seem to be healing that. That wound doesn't seem to be regenerating.
All right, so 10 plus, 10 total. Plus the 3 from rage, 13.
And then another D8.
Yep, so 13 plus D8, which rolls a 6. So 19.
6, nice. So a hefty blow as you kind of tear through this thing's neck. And this time it doesn't seem to sort of really realize what's going on. One thing I forgot to do at the start of your turn, Clyve, I'm going to do it now. Can you make a charisma saving throw for me? As you are starting near this thing, as you're like near this creature, as you've kind of gotten close to it, that babbling, that kind of nonsense language it's speaking is like getting in your mind, and like it's like wiggling into your brain. It feels like it's, something's going on in there.
That's a 4.
Ooh.
That's a 4. Okay, so you can't take reactions until the start of your next turn. And when you start, so I should have done this at the start of your turn, but I wanted to let you finish because it was my mistake. You roll a d4 to see what you can do, because it is kind of like your brain's all confused. This creature's speech is just kind of messing with your brain as you do it. And that is going to be the end of your turn. Azara, can you make that charisma save? I should have done this for Clyve at the start of his turn, but I forgot. Can you make a charisma
try
save?
to warn the party, just be like, I babbling nonsense.
But do it in a thicker accent so they can't understand.
It's gotten in your brain.
Good thing I have a +6 to charisma, so that's a dirty 20.
You are fine. So you can feel this thing, this warped kind of language that it's speaking is trying to wiggle in your brain, but you manage to throw off those senses.
In response to that, Azara, still very upset, she hasn't had her coffee yet, is going to, because I'm still within melee range, right?
You are currently very much within melee range. This thing has got a very long reach. She's going to reach out and just say, oh my God, shut up, and inflict wounds. The 4th level. Nice. Okay. Is this an attack roll or is this? Oh, she got a crit. that reaction can only be from a natural 20 on a big spell.
This is gonna be mean. Just kill him.
So I crit. How do I do a crit again?
So what would the damage be? Because you cast this at 4th level, right?
So that's 6d10.
So that's 60 points of damage, and then you roll 6d10 again.
Okay, I'm just going to roll 6d10 on D&D Beyond. It's never been easier. So that's 60 plus 35.
So 95 points of damage.
Of necrotic damage.
Of necrotic. Oh my God, shut up. You touch this thing, and it's like the Thanos snap, right? Like it just begins to turn to dust and its body begins melting away until there's just like muscle and bones left. Like its outer scales evaporate, its wings begin disintegrating. However, actually, regeneration. If the damage slashing damage, okay. This thing is just outright dead. So you watch as like whatever Clyve did stops its regeneration, and then Azara just melts it and turns it to dust as it just evaporates in front of you. The other creature does let out this like mournful wail, but you hear this voice, Azara. I don't think you would have heard the Summer King up until this point, but you hear this just like, oh, she's got a bit of a kick to her, doesn't she? Look at her go! Bloody hell! Oh, I wouldn't want to be on the end of that touch, I tell you. And you just hear this like voice kind of yelling at you from somewhere. Is that the end of your turn, Zara? Would you like to do anything else? This thing is very dead.
I feel like being on this roof is a bad idea. How much movement would it take for me to gently climb to just the bottom?
Yeah, you could. You're not being threatened by anything. You could easily climb to the bottom. I'd say like 5, and then you're talking about sort of like 20, 30 feet, 25, just 30 feet of movement.
Very gently climbing to the bottom and standing there and just not happy.
Zara's not particularly athletic, so just make an athletics check for me, just to see if you like fall on your ass.
That's super fair. Oh, cool. Love that -1.
You probably won't take any damage, but you might end up
7
and dirty. Yeah, you go to climb down and you're trying to go gently, but like the rocks of the thing crumble and then you just lose your grip and you land on your ass covered in dirt and leaves, and just making the situation more miserable than.
And she just sits there. She's just like, of course this is happening. Yeah,
like the ground's a little bit damp and muddy.
Gown and slippers.
Like the feathers are all like covered in dirt and matted, and she's like, this is my morning. All right.
Pink, a lovely pink, like dressing gown. It's all just completely ruined. Nice. Well, the other one, who's going to ignore Agnis, who's done nothing wrong, just completely left this thing alone. But it has just witnessed its mate being completely obliterated.
That's awkward.
Is going to fly. Is flying up in the air, and it is going to basically line up.
Sup? All 3 of us, fuck.
All 3 of you to make a dexterity saving throw as it shoots fiery lasers from its eyes at all 3 of you. And this is a dex saving throw, so evasion will apply here for you, Shady.
I got a 18.
18, okay. So half damage for Azara.
Sweet.
27.
No damage for Tarkhal because of evasion. Clyve.
18.
18. So okay, half damage from Clyve and Azara. So that is going to be spinny dice. 35 halved would be 15, 17 points of fire damage to Azara and Clyve. And Tarkhal, you just do like the desolation of Smaug. You like slink down behind like this tiny little chimney as fire just kind of over you, and you're like, okay, I'm good. And yeah, we go up to Tarkhal, top of the round.
No one's within 5 feet. Oh wait, no, you said his range is long, right? Does it go out beyond his squares at all, the dragon, or no?
It does, but that doesn't apply for your sneak attack, unfortunately. Mica would
Gotcha.
have to be within 5 feet of it.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Let me just draw a line.
It's
real
also
quick.
flying up in the air, I should point out.
Oh, okay. So no one would be near it anyway.
Yes. It's about like 20 feet up in the air. And when it did the beam, it kind of did like an anime, like anime beams where it like fires down and it cuts through. So that's why it hits Azara on the ground and then hits the two guys on the roof.
Okay, well, I think then I don't think I can cause fear in a dragon, so I won't do that. I'm just gonna jump off of its mate's dead body.
Oh.
And like do like a and then
snap
like
bones underneath your boots.
Throw my kiss of silver once I'm within the 20 feet, which would be like here, like midair,
Okay,
I guess.
sure. Yeah, go for it.
D20 plus 8, so that is a 5 plus 8, 13.
Not enough. The dagger kind of glances off this creature's toughened hide as you do so.
Shoot. Okay, then I am going to use my bonus action to dash. I want to go like I want to hop off the roof if I can. Like.
Okay. Do you want to make an acrobatics check, or are you just gonna kind of superhero landing this?
I mean, if I'm allowed to just superhero landing it, not a problem. Yeah, for sure.
Make an acrobatics check just to see if you can pull this off without hurting yourself. Basically, it'll only be like a d6 damage.
11 plus 4, 15.
Yeah, it's enough. You managed to kind of like hop down, slide down, no damage, but land on your feet, kind of thing. As you do so, nice. Okay. At the end of Tarkhal's round, the still alive Jabberwock, it's about 20 feet up in the air. None of its attacks can really reach at the moment, so it's not going to do a legendary action. Agnis,
like Azara, has not had any caffeine and is quite put out by this whole thing. So as this monster comes right next to her, she rolls over and is like, "Shut up!" and hits the ground and casts erupting earth in a 20-foot square that is
underneath
like this. Wait, this.
Yep.
So she
how
just,
high does the erupting earth go? Because this thing is flying up in the air. I know on the map it looks like it's on the ground.
I didn't
but
realize it was flying.
Yeah, it's about 20 feet up in the air. But erupting, I don't know if it says like, a 20-foot column of earth or something like that on erupting earth.
Let's see.
If not, I'm happy for you to change.
It's a 20-foot cube, so I think it probably only goes 20 feet high.
20-foot cube means three-dimensional, so it'd go 20 feet high, which would catch this thing. It would just catch it. It would just catch its legs.
Awesome. So I'm going to do that, and that's going to be 4d12 damage.
It's a saving throw on my behalf, or?
Oh, yes, a dex 16.
Dex 16. Oh, I was on an 11 plus 6, and then it rolled to a 4 plus 6 for a 10. So it's a failure.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be 25. 25
points of bludgeoning damage. It's like
and
rocks and
that area is also difficult terrain now.
Yeah, that's good for you guys. Important for you guys. This thing is flying. But yeah, if any of you guys move into it, important to remember.
Well, I assume that if it got up there and touched him, it makes it difficult terrain. Like he'd have to fly up out of the terrain in order to move without difficulty, right?
You can't make the air difficult terrain, I think.
Oh, fine.
That's called turbulence, Mark. Yes, you can.
Yeah, well, I think that the idea of the spell, and if I'm wrong, Jeremy can correct me, but the idea is that the ground is scattered with debris, turning it into difficult terrain. I'm going to rule that rocks don't just stay frozen in the air, creating difficult
You never heard
terrain.
of stealth rocks, Mark? Come on.
Right? You never heard of stealth rocks?
Hey, listen, I watched The Expanse. I know all about stealth rocks. Anyway, Clyve of the Wild Mane.
Let's see. Okay, so This guy's dead. Cool. Oh, I can. Okay, so this guy's flying.
He is flying about 20 feet up in the air, which is about 5 feet up from the roof. So the roof's about 15 foot high. He's about 20 feet up.
What would it take, Mark, to run and jump off the edge of the roof, sword out, hilt up, and land in him?
I would say you've definitely got the movement to do it. What's your strength score? Is it 18 or 16?
It's pretty high. 19.
It's 19. You can definitely make the jump. The only thing here is make an athletics check for me, because I want to see if you maintain enough like coordination, whether it's going to give you disadvantage on your attack rolls.
An athletics check.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me? 15?
15's enough. I would say you managed to kind of maintain enough coordination that you can strike without any sort of like penalty or difficulty.
Cool.
You are going to land if you don't stick to this thing. You probably will fall onto the ground, but
well, let's find out. This sounds pretty reckless, right?
This 100% sounds reckless, and I think you should definitely use reckless attack.
Oh my god, it's an 18. It was on a 20, and then the advantage dice just knocked into it and tilted it.
Oh, that sucks. Well, an 18 is at least still a hit, though.
Mm-hmm. Sweet slow-mo jump, like side profile, tiny lion man compared to this dragon.
Sure.
And
I'll say, like, depending on how much damage you do will depend on, like, whether you stick into it.
So let's see. It's 10 plus 3, 13 plus the D8.
Mm-hmm.
14.
I'd say that's actually good. If you'd done too much damage, the wound would have been too big and you would have slipped out. I kind of put it in my head that if you did more than 20 points of damage, you probably would have just done too big a wound to stay in. But the sword is kind of like stuck in it and you're now holding on to it. Here's the problem for you though, Clyve. If you pull the sword out to make a second attack, you will fall. Or you can. Okay.
No, I'm not going to second attack.
Well, you could make an unarmed strike if you could use like a claw or something like that to like, one hand like claw it instead of the sword.
Where did the sword land?
I'd say like it's got this long sinewy neck and you're buried into like the side of its neck and you're just sort of like holding on, sort of swinging in the air.
I'm assuming that I've used up everything else on the turn, and if this waits till next turn, that's fine. I want to try and like swing onto the back of it, and then that
would be definitely next turn. I think, yeah, that'd be like your movement for next turn.
I'll call out to my friends, be like, I'm gonna try and steer him.
Nice. As Clyve says that, it's gonna
use handle.
It's gonna use its legendary action to try and like slash Clyve, who's on his back. And it does have advantage because you used reckless attack. It was nearly a natural 20. 18 to hit, Clyve?
Not with my +1 that I still have.
You do still have, yeah, because you've not changed it, right? It sticks with you until it changes. So
AC
yeah, so
19.
it goes to strike you, and there's like this multicolored prismatic barrier, and its claws like nearly scrape along your flesh, but whatever protection your rage is giving you manages to deflect it. Nice. In that case, we go to Azara Mithras.
Azara is going to sigh and get off the ground and brush herself off and quicken her spell first. And then cast Cure Wounds on herself.
Yeah, it's probably smart. So you're going to cast Cure Wounds as a quicken spell.
As a quicken spell at the 4th level. So for it, I'm just going to roll it here. It's never been easier. 17 points back to me. Thank you.
Nice.
And then I'm going to help Clyve steer this thing, and I'm going to cast Lightning Lure on its leg to try and hold it steady.
Pull it down.
And pull it down.
Cool.
Unfortunately, it does need to, it's only strength 14.
Strength 14. That is going to be a 14 exactly. 4 plus 10. So
Fuck!
I only just made it. But yeah, this thing, as the lightning kind of rips out of your hands, you get the sense that, yeah, this is still a dragon and it's still immensely strong as it like yanks the lure out of your hands, breaking the lightning chain before it can, find purchase, unfortunately.
Well, I tried.
Yeah, you did try.
I did
End
try.
of your turn. It is going to...
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to use its last legendary action to try and smack Clyve with its tail with advantage. Nope, 17. So both rolls, 7 plus 10. It's like slapping its own body, trying to reach Clyve, who's like swinging to and fro on the sword, looking like a big epic Greek hero as it's like holding onto this sword, like trying to avoid being struck. But then on its go...
in the distance, just anyone who's far away hears Clyve's echoing laughter.
I've got some bad news for you, Clyve. On its turn, it flies 60 feet up in the air. So you are now 80 feet off the ground.
That's not bad.
And it is going to try and... what would it try and do? I think it's going to try and grab you. And try and drop you, basically. It's going to try and like get its claw and try and grab you. So can you make a just strength check plus just strength bonus? So not saving throw, just strength modifier.
A strong 11.
Ooh, the dragon reaches its claw, and as you're hanging on, it grabs you and it pulls you from its body, and it just like drops you from its claws 80 feet over the earth.
But what if I were to hang on to its big old fingies?
If you want to try, okay. So it's grabbed you. So that was its grapple attempt. So I would say, as a reaction, you could spend your reaction to try and grapple its hand to try and not let go. All right, just do another strength check. Yeah, and I'll do a strength check for this thing.
23.
So it's grabbed you. I got an 18. So it's grabbed you, pulled you from its body, and it's trying to drop you, and you're just like, no.
Just on his finger, like...
Yeah. It's just like
flopping around. Cool.
Okay. If you're doing that, I will say what it will do is try and use its other hand to just attack you, basically, or just try and claw you. For a 19 to hit, which I think will hit you with the +1, right?
That hits.
Yeah. So that's going to be 25 points of damage to Clyve as it just like rakes your back as it's trying to pull you from its own hand that you won't let go.
Is that 25 halved?
So halved, it would be, what would that be? That'd be 12 points halved. Because you're rage. You're right. So 25.
He's like trying to fling me and throw me. He's like,
and then he's like slapping you.
You're trapped up here with me, fool.
The Jabberwock say, and you just hear this voice of like the Summer King, just like, oh, he's got Clyve. No, Clive's got him. Bloody good show, Clyve. Show him what for, boy. Show him what for. Call if you need a hand. Not that I think you need it, but if you do, just give us a shout. Tarkhal.
Okay, so the dragon is 85 feet in the air still?
It is now 80 feet. So yeah, 80 feet total.
Okay.
Above the ground.
So I wonder if there's like anything I can do. I think it might just be out of range of everything. Let me think.
Sadly,
the roof is 15 feet, right?
Yeah, that's true. So he would be 80 feet minus 15.
Yeah, but it's less than that. It's not just 18 minus 15 because you're drawing a diagonal.
We don't do diagonals. We don't do diagonals in D&D Shady.
But you're going in the air.
No.
If right underneath the miss 85, then on the roof it would be like 50.
No, it's 80 minus 15. We're not doing any algebra, Pythagoras theorem shit here.
Okay, can I use my movement to get back on the roof?
65.
Can I use my movement to get back on the roof?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Is this little ledge where
Azara
is that higher than 15 feet? Is that like an extra 5?
No. It's like at most like 2 feet high.
Okay.
It's like a little ledge.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to I'm gonna run up and I'm gonna use that momentum to also just jump off the roof. And how high can I get in the air? Yeah, exactly.
You can get another 5 feet because the maximum range on the Kiss of Silver is 60, right? That's its max range.
Yeah.
So it'd be a disadvantage, but you can make the throw for sure.
And then because I have an ally in range, does that cancel out, right? So it's just regular roll.
It doesn't give you advantage, but it just allows you to do sneak attack if you have an ally within 5 feet. So disadvantage. So normally I would say if you have disadvantage on the attack roll, you don't get to do sneak attack. I would say because of the unusual situation of Clyve being grappling it, you will still get the sneak attack even though you have disadvantage on the roll if you hit.
If I hit, yeah. Exactly. Okay. So,
unusual circumstance. I'm aware of the rules for anybody watching at home. Normally, you don't get sneak attack on a disadvantage attack roll. I'm going to rule it that if Tarkhal hits, it does get sneak attack.
Okay, so Tarkhal runs at the side of the roof just to use momentum on these wooden tiles and to leap off and get in the air close enough to you within 60 feet. Tosses his blade, and I don't have to roll again because that is a 3. So that'll be 11.
Just sails past and then snaps back to your hand. Then you fall 20 feet down, Tarkhal.
Yes. Can I make some sort of check to see if I...
You can make an acrobatics check.
Okay.
To half the damage.
That's 16.
16. You successfully half 4 points of damage down to 2 points of damage.
Nice.
Oh.
Big damage.
Big damage. Agnis Crownsilver, we go to you now.
Agnes is still half asleep, but she's going to cast Scorching Ray up.
So you just look up, you see this thing in Clyve, and you're just like...
And it's like, nah, stop. And she throws those 3 Scorching Rays up there. So that is going to be a ranged spell attack for each one, which is at +8. So...
It's never been easier.
The first one is a 1.
It's a natural 1.
It's a natural
First one. 2 more.
So,
2 more.
Yeah, that's great.
Here we go. Natural 20.
Let's see. So a 12 and a 17, so that'll be a 20 and a 35. 25.
Both of those will hit. No natural 20, but two very high rolls. So both other hits. So that's 2d6 each ray. So 46.
4d6.
Fire damage. And do you get an extra thing? Oh, it's when Candle's out, isn't it? You get extra fire damage.
Cander's still sleeping too. So that's a total of 10 fire damage.
10 points of fire damage.
I rolled poorly. Got 2 1s on the
Rays
damage.
kind of scorch his back. Unfortunately, the person whose turn it is next is just decided that it's pee break time. So I will instead in detail narrate the status of this creature as it flies through the air. Clyve in what I'm going to try and take my time on this to give Nate time to get back. As Clyve is in grappling one of its claws and it's desperately trying to rake the other one. Its back is marred by flame as Agnes throws her fire into the sky. Tarkhal leaping through the air manages to land, rolling with some of the momentum as he looks back, seeing Azara kind of just sat exhausted in the dirt with a fluffy gown, ruined by mud and leaves. And it was perfectly timed. He's back. As it comes Clyve of the Wildmane's turn.
He
has no idea.
I've earned it a little. That's all.
It was your turn. Yeah, it was like Anna, you went away just as it was your turn, basically.
Oh, whoops. Okay.
That's okay. It's funny.
So
we got some lovely Mark DMing in the meantime.
Yeah.
So I'm holding on to this thing's hand.
Yes.
80 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm. So we're in a situation where he is grappling you and you are grappling him. Like you are grappling each other.
Okay. I'm going. Clyve would know what to do.
He would. I'm sure Nate knows what to do.
Just channel Clyve.
I guess. Let's see. Okay, so I'm hanging on to him. If I'm hanging on to him, can I make any kind of attack? Or
yeah, I'd say you can still make it. You can still make an attack. Yeah.
Okay.
It might mean that like if there's a contested strength check for him to like rip you free, maybe it'll be harder because you've obviously only got one hand kind of gripping onto him, but you can still attack.
I'm gonna stab into his hand then.
Nice.
That is a 17.
Not enough. You go to pierce through the skin, but it kind of the toughened hide, it deflects the blade away. You're kind of awkwardly hold on, and yeah, the blade just doesn't unfortunately strike true.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop rolling on dndbeyond.com.
Sometimes it can be easier.
For my second attack.
Sometimes the digital dice just betray you.
I literally rolled the same thing.
Damn.
So you're like trying to like strike at this thing, but the angle and it trying to grapple you is just kind of throwing this thing off. Basically, it's not quite able to get a grip. End of turn.
Oh wait, I didn't try to recklessly attack. That would be so stupid. Could I still do it?
I would normally you have to do it before you start rolling attacks, but for rule of cool, you can definitely, let's call it, yeah, you can make those as if you had advantage.
Okay, now he has advantage on me. So what have I done?
Yes.
We'll just say, cool. I rolled the same thing again.
Ooh.
Nice.
Boy.
Oh boy. So you're desperately like,
just like
trying to stab at this thing. At the end of your turn, Clyve, this thing is going to use all three of its legendary actions to do a wing attack. It beats its wings furiously in the air. Each creature within 10 feet, which is just you, has to make a dexterity saving throw.
I can do that at advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Roll. Okay. 20.
Okay. All right. So you feel this thing and this wind, you manage to get a grip on, you hold on as the winds almost blow you away, 10 feet away and knock you on your ass, which would have basically caused you to fall if this thing had blown you away. But you managed to grip in, the sword dug in, managed to hold on. Nothing there. We go to Azara Mithras.
Just a lion man flag blowing in the wind.
That's so bad for Clyve.
He's having a great time.
That's true. He's actually, this is the greatest day of his life. Azara's not even going to bother getting up. She's just going to cast Guiding Bolt from the floor at this dragon. So at also Angie, so at the 5th level. We're not having a good morning today.
No, this is a bad morning.
This is a bad morning. Wait, hold on. What? Can you guys see that? Can you see what that is? Can you see what that is?
Jesus, 2 nat 20s on big
girl.
spells this session.
Wait, now I fucked my camera. Okay, hold on. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Hold on.
There we go.
Hold on. Okay. Anyway.
So that's an actual 20.
So what is 6 times 8?
48.
48.
And then another 6.
And then another 8d6. Because I have 8d6, right?
Okay.
So then plus another 30.
So 78 points of damage.
Of radiant damage. And then also whoever attacks next gets advantage.
Okay, so watch as Azara's hand flies up and we see this kind of streaks of golden light kind of spring forth, striking the creature. Its wings kind of furl in like an insect's. Its eyes glaze over, covered with lids, and it plummets to the ground.
Oh, fuck!
Clyve, it was 8. It was 80 feet up in the air.
Well, how long is said plummet?
Yeah, I've got some bad news for you. In D&D, a fall is instantaneous if it's less than 400 feet. You basically hit the ground immediately. So if
are we still
in the physics?
Wait,
our gravity changes if dead.
Are we still in initiative?
We are in initiative, yeah.
Can I bargain with you?
You can try.
Do it.
I'm going to roll this damage anyway.
No, wait. Before you do.
DM bartering.
Then I know that the damage is there.
Okay,
so you can
roll it, but just
I roll this.
The damage is.
Okay.
No. I know what the damage is.
Well, I mean, someone's going to have to put it in the character sheet on dndbeyond.com.
Well,
I have 2 bargains. One, can I either have preemptively quickened that spell so I can cast a cantrip?
No.
Okay.
You didn't.
Okay. Then if we happen to fall out of initiative, I would like to cast Gust of Wind to try and guide Clyve that way to lower the descent into like a tree and pad the fall.
My erupting earth made the ground closer underneath the
It made
monster.
it rocky and full of
But
debris.
closer.
It made it closer.
But closer.
20 feet closer, specifically.
It shot Earth up 20 feet. I don't think it creates like a pillar of 20 foot of Earth.
Oh. That's
The
just
other thing
your
is
opinion.
Mica. I mean, those are that to me sounds like a request. I'm not hearing what I gain.
The bargain is
The bargain
is what you get is the fact that I've rolled 2 natural 20s in this episode, which has made it very exciting.
Very quickly.
And I'll
sounds like
also, the next time you're in America, bake you a carrot cake.
Maybe it's kind of okay. I'm gonna unfortunately rule that unfortunately, and this isn't even me making this decision. We are still in initiative because this thing is not dead. Its wounds are regenerating.
Oh shit! It's not dead.
It is not dead. It's at 0 hit points, but it is regenerating its health as it has not been dealt slashing damage. So unfortunately, Clyve didn't hit it with slashing damage.
Oh, because you have to snicker snack the Jabberwock.
You have to snicker snack the
my
Jabberwock.
God.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly.
Oh.
So as this thing is plummeting, its wounds are beginning to heal. So we're still in initiative. So unfortunately, Clyve, that would be 33 points of bludgeoning damage. But it is bludgeoning damage, and you're raging, which means it's halved to 16 points.
Oh, he's fine. Damage. Okay, I didn't even have to bargain.
The creature slams into Agnes's debris field. Clyve goes rolling out, still conscious, I believe, just barely.
Dust settles and you just hear, "I'm all right. All right."
As you land, Clyve, as like this is taking effect, you hear the Summer King will call out and just be like, "Clyve, my boy, you need to cut its head off. Slash its head off, boy. Otherwise, it's going to keep getting up."
All right, let me just unbreak a bone first.
You'll be fine, lad. You'll be fine. Come on. Nearly there. Come on, lad. Do it. Come on. He's just like calling out to you like a dad at a soccer match. The Jabberwock at the start of its turn does heal 10 points. It is now on the ground, though, as it regenerates 10 HP. And it is going to sort of look around and it's going to kind of, Clyve's right there. We'll put Clyve here. So it can't really, it is going to lash out with 2 claws, one at Azara and one at Clyve.
I'm so far away. He cannot reach me.
He absolutely can. He's got 15 feet. Yeah, he can hit all of you if he wanted to.
Reach.
And he will. In fact, actually, no, Azara did a lot of damage. It will be Azara and Clyve. So that's an 18 to hit Azara. And a natural 20 against Clyve.
Oh!
No joke.
Cool.
So, sorry, that's the wrong one. So Azara, that is going to be 21 points of damage.
Ow.
Clyve will be 54 points of damage. Halved to 27 points of slashing damage.
So Clyve like barely stands up. You see him in the distance. Gives it.
And then this
up.
thing,
I'm all right. And then just strike them off screen.
you hear a like, "Oh, bloody bad sport, you stupid thing. You should be dead." And I think that upon seeing that, it would be Tarkhal's go, but you begin to see a figure emerging from the road, kind of striding forth, a huge longbow kind of resting on their shoulders, and what appears to be a giant woodsman's axe in the other, is this sort of 10 feet tall, broad-chested, tanned brown skin humanoid with these giant antlers growing out of his head and this huge mane of coppery ginger hair as this figure seems to be emerging. But Tarkhal Crownsilver, it is your turn.
Okay, I have a question. When this King of the Spring Summer, when he spoke to Clyve and said, "You need to slash it, cut its head off," we all heard that.
Tarkhal heard that. Yeah. You all heard that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to see how much damage this would do because I've never used it before. I have a short sword in my inventory.
Short sword is piercing damage.
Oh, it is piercing, so I can only pierce.
But you can see Ebonscorn is like lying next to Clyve, like it's on the ground. You could try and pick it up.
I feel that'd feel weird. I don't know if I want to touch Clyve's sword. Feels borderline disrespectful. I think I'm going to I think I'm just gonna try to use Hellish Rebuke on this beast.
Okay, Hellish Rebuke you have to use as a reaction when it hits you.
Oh, heck. You're right. It is a reaction. Never mind.
Sorry.
Then I won't do that. That's
ruin.
okay. I feel like I can't command you, but I will try anyway. Will I try? No. I'm just gonna hit it with my dagger. Can I slash it with my dagger instead of piercing it? Can I just use the tiny edge and
You can certainly try, but a dagger is not a cutting weapon. It is a thrusting, like a stabbing. Kiss of Silver is designed more like a stiletto. You can certainly try and like cut with it, but it's not going to be very effective, probably.
Okay. Then I guess I won't do that. Instead, I will try to do damage regular with my dagger.
You can definitely try. It's just, it's going to be hard to try and like cut this thing's head off with a dagger.
Would I still use the +8
to hit? Yeah.
To hit? Okay. So then it's 17 + 8, 25.
That will definitely hit.
Okay.
You currently don't have a conscious ally within 5 feet, so no sneak attack damage. Roll your normal damage, and then I'm going to half it, basically. I'm going to treat it as if it had resistance. Because you're trying to like...
It's 6. Is my
6,
damage.
so half to 3.
Yeah.
So you're like, you jab it into the neck, and you're like sawing it, but it's like trying to use a bread knife on this thing, right? You're like, you're sweating buckets as you're desperately trying to like saw this thing with your throwing knife. Not enough to cut its head off, unfortunately.
Okay.
And as you do that, Tarkhal, it is gonna like its tail is gonna whip round, and it's gonna try and smack you with its tail.
Okay.
For 15 to hit.
15 does, so Clyve's thing dropped, right? Because he's unconscious, so I don't get the +1. Okay, so then it hits.
10 points of bludgeoning damage as you get whacked by its tail.
Can I now use my reaction to Hellish Rebuke him?
Yes, you can. It doesn't know that you can do that, so yep.
Cool. It's a Dex save 16, and Tarkhal's just going to look at this thing, and he uses green fire.
13?
Dex 16.
Cool. So what does this look like? Is this like green fire kind of erupting from your brooch or like from...
Yeah. I would say it erupts, but it runs down his arm because he does point.
Can I add a flavor to it? That as it does, it takes the form of like a roaring dragon's maw. Like as it does, it becomes like a giant draconic maw that kind of engulfs this thing. So what, 3d10 fire damage?
It's only 2d10, but I will...
yes, it is because you're not a tiefling. Yes, 2d10.
Yeah, that's a big 2 damage right there. Roll 2 1s on d10s. No big deal.
Oh, yeah.
No big
deal. It's like a big, giant dragon maw, and then it just flickers into it.
It just sneezes on the other dragon. That's all.
It is. All right. Agnis Crownsilver.
Is Tarkhal's knife still embedded in the creature?
It's in his hand, but he's like trying to like saw through it.
So it's in contact with it.
It's in contact with it. Yeah, sure.
Agnes is going to be like, "You're doing great," and she's going to cast Heat Metal on the dagger.
Oh.
Okay. Yep.
Presuming that the dagger has a hilt.
It does. It has a leather wrapped hilt. Yeah. I would say Tarkhal
it's
might
fine.
be.
He can let go if it hurts.
I think that's probably going to be the case. I'm not going to have it do damage to Tarkhal, but unless he chooses to keep holding it, where it's going to get hotter and hotter. But yeah, just roll the damage. This thing doesn't have a choice. Like I don't think it can make a saving throw. Really, I think this is just going to do the damage to the creature.
It's 2d8. I rolled 2 1s again.
Oh god, the
my damage
Crownsilver
has included at least 2 1s every time. But I'm like, leave it there, because it'll keep doing damage.
Well, yeah, Tarkhal, you're holding your Kiss of Silver, and it begins getting really hot. Like if you keep holding this thing, it's going to be burning your hand. Like it's going to burn through the leather wrappings.
So here's the thing: if I let go of it, I'm pretty sure it's gonna appear back in my hilt, in my casing, because whenever it leaves my hand for any longer than 1 turn's time,
it does. It's part of the magic
put
item.
your sleeve around it. Just hold it like this.
But I think it's simply when it gets like hot, and then it probably appears back in.
And then And then it does, and like your pouch is like starting to catch flame, and like your belt is like, oh god, like it's starting to burn.
Turn it off! Turn it off!
What is happening? Go to Clyve of the Wildmane. Death saving throw time.
Mm-hmm. Let's do this. Acoustic. 14.
14. That is a success. You're not getting any worse.
Yeah.
Azara Mithras.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna quicken the spell
Mhm.
real quick. We're gonna.
Also, how come we don't do stab into enemy heat metal all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
but
combo.
It is,
even,
and
even though unconscious, the metal wielding barbarian likes this a lot.
Yeah.
Also, I should point out that once I've done the damage initially, I can use a bonus action to cause it to happen
Keep
again.
doing it.
So it doesn't automatically keep heating.
Yes,
So
that's true.
you could stab it every turn and I could heat it every turn.
I would say to do, you would probably need to like, because the weapon, like in normal combat, right? This is a unique situation. In normal combat, like when you swing your sword isn't staying in the enemy until your next turn. But
Mhm.
you could, I would say that for Agnis, you could say, I'm going to ready my action, even though it's a bonus action. You could be like, I'm going to ready to basically activate the heat metal as so-and-so strikes.
Really
But that would
cool.
take your reaction and a held action to do,
Right.
right? It's a cool combo that you can do, but it's just you have to sync up the timing to do it.
Yeah.
I will say that if you ever encounter enemies in metal armor, heat metal is one of the most
Oh,
brutal
yeah.
things you can
I've been
ever do.
waiting for
It's
that.
like, yeah, full metal armor, heat metal, lol.
You just cook them.
Because they just can't take it off. It takes like 10 minutes to take full plate off. So anyway, Azara Mithras.
Yes. I hastened my spell. I'm going to go over to Clyve, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds at the 3rd level.
Okay. So bonus action cure wounds.
Yeah, you get 20 points of HP back, and you're back up.
Sweet. Thank you.
And then my cantrip.
Mhm.
Now, hear me out. If I cast
Anytime Mica says, Mark, hear me out.
hear me out.
I have an idea.
How heavy is Evan's score?
I don't know. I can look it up. Long swords have weight. Longsword. It weighs 3 pounds.
Perfect. If I cast Mage Hand and have it attack,
Oh, I see.
so I'm not holding it as a dragon,
Ooh.
Nice.
can I do that?
You can. I don't think that Azara would be particularly skilled with a sword necessarily. So
I am skilled with martial weapons.
that's you have had training as a cleric. Okay.
It says it here, martial weapons.
Yeah, Tempest cleric. I think you get those.
Mhm,
In
mhm.
that case, yeah, I think maybe like this is lessons from Alyssa maybe in swordplay. The mage hand is it's not using your physical strength, but I would say make a melee like a spell attack. Make it like a spell attack bonus.
Yeah, I can do that. Spell attack bonus.
I don't think that the mage hand isn't strong enough to put a lot of weight behind the blow. So
Right.
you're not going to add like a modifier to the damage, but it would just be the D8 like normal longsword damage. But it can be two-handed, so it'd be a D10.
right.
But this is basically the benefit, like rather than getting a bonus to damage, you get to use the mage hand to like control it instead.
It's only a 10 to hit.
Unfortunately, the mage hand grasps and the mage hand just isn't strong enough to bring it down on the creature's neck as it does so.
Got it. Well, it's there. Clyve's sword is just floating, and I did my best, but he's up, so that's all that matters.
Okay. He is up. You see the creatures, because it hasn't like taken enough slashing damage, its wounds are beginning to heal. Rather than this dragging this out, because you guys Clyve's just going to kill this thing next turn anyway. Like you guys can just obliterate this thing. I think that basically the dragon is going to basically start to awaken, but you see a giant like throwing axe basically kind of, and it just cleaves through the neck. To the point that, by the next turn, you guys can just dismantle this thing. And for the sake of brevity, we will call this combat done, because this thing is not getting away. As you successfully defeat the two Jabberwocks with a good snicker snack.
Hey.
I imagine that because Agnis is right next to the erupting earth area of effect. So I imagine that like a sheer of rock had erupted in like kind of a diagonal, and she's like, and she kind of like cuddled in underneath it with her blankie. So she's just sleeping under the rock now that it's quiet.
Nice. Okay. Well, it is quiet for a moment before another booming voice does kind of echo through as you begin to hear this like big, heavy, like slow, like bravo.
Then she's
bravo.
startled and she sits up and hits her head on the rock.
Oh, my dear, I'm so sorry. Oh, I must say, a marvelous performance, brilliantly done. I haven't seen a hunt like this in years. Not since I stopped hunting these damn things. I can't wait for them to come back in a few years. Bloody brilliant, Clyve. You went down like a sack of potatoes, my lad. Brilliant.
What happened? I'm still disoriented.
Oh, my dearest apologies. I pulled you all in here at the last minute, and where are my manners? I've not even introduced myself. Greetings to you, esteemed allies of Clyve of the Wildmane. I am His Royal Highness. I am... Gotta look up his name now. I am Jahir Veraladin III, the Summer King. And he does like a big bow. Now, I've obviously inconvenienced you. This one, and he kind of
Hello, I'm Clyve of the Wildmane.
He scoops the big rock away from Agnis and he offers a big giant hand to Azara to kind of pull you up from the ground and things like that.
Agnis's eyes
Clyve
go
is
from
clearly
sleepy to like real big. Big, strong, buff antler man.
Who is like, who looks like something. He looks like Oberon, right, from A Midsummer Night's Dream. Like he has this kind of otherworldly nature about him. And he will kind of like guide Azara up. He kind of probably lifts Agnis up like in a fireman's carry to kind of like set you up, very sort of gently, and does so. He like bows deeply. He offers a big giant hand to Tarkhal to shake. And he's kind of patting Clyve on the back. Well, it seems that my boy Clyve here is in need of a bit of a sit down. I've clearly ruined your evening attire, and you've dragged you out of nowhere. The least I can do is offer you something in return, a place for food, a place of refreshments, whilst I prepare Clyve's spoils for the hunt.
Yes, I'm Clyve of the Wildmane.
You are indeed my boy. And he just lifts your arm up like a boxing champ. He's like, yes, Clyve of the Wildmane. Oh, he's a champion. But if you would be so kind, I would love to invite you back to my temporary camp.
Agnis is just staring at him and blushing.
Azara will pat Agnis on the back and be like, we would not say no to some refreshments, specifically coffee if you have it, and maybe some Feywild attire, as my robe is soiled.
My dear, I will make sure that we fetch the finest clothing for yourself and this other beautiful lady with you. I do not know what coffee is, but I can certainly arrange for invigorating beverages and food that will fill you with vim and vigor.
Azara just is like...
In response
Agnis
to
is like
temporary
patting
camp,
down her huge hair, like...
In response to temporary camp, Clyve is just babbling. He's like, the only camp that's not temporary is the one you die in.
Jeez.
Okay, we should get to the camp. Yeah.
Yes, come with me. Well, he just the Summer King, Jahir will just basically escort you. He will, being a summary gentleman, he offers both his arms to the two ladies. He just these giant biceps, like a gentleman would, to escort you through.
Azara takes it for sure.
Oh, Agnis does too, for sure. But kind of squeaks a little.
Yeah. And yeah, he is like immensely muscular. You think that he could like just lift you with like no problems whatsoever. These giant sort of like bounding legs, big tall body, and this just huge mane of coppery ginger hair. And he will lead all four of you a short distance from the watermill, not too far, like maybe like a few minutes walk away, where you find a pavilion, like a gold and red marquee tent, basically, that looks enormous. This is like almost circus tent level kind of size. It's been erected. You can see there are all sorts of elves and centaurs and satyrs. And as soon as they see the king, they get on their knees. Musicians begin to blare trumpets. I think before you leave as well, the Summer King hacks off the head of the Jabberwock and like has Clyve carrying it. He's just like shoves it into Clive's hand. And goes, oh, there you go, my boy. Carry it forward. Carry your prize. And he kind of leads everyone, and there's like big trumpet calls. And he starts clapping his hands. He's like, prepare the tent, prepare meals, prepare refreshments for our guests. And also, where are my waiting ladies? Where are my waiting ladies? You there, you maidens, fetch these beautiful women some attire, the finest silks, the finest clothing and jewelry that we have. Bring it for them as a gift from the Summer King. Bring it. Would you care for anything, my good sir? And he turns to Tarkhal. Do you require anything? A fine cape, perhaps, to replace it? Was anything damaged? You seem a bit more better prepared than your companions.
No, I think I'm good. I just would like to have a conversation if we can.
Of course, yes. Do you want something? Your little knife is quite nice, but would you like something bigger?
Well, this one's kind of special, and he'll throw it up in the air and then just like look at his.
Oh, that's a lovely little trick. That's very sweet, isn't it? That's very nice. Yes.
I mean, if you could make this one sharper, then.
Maybe we may need to have a conversation about that. But yes, certainly, Clyve has deserved some spoils. But yes, maybe we can arrange something.
Why,
but yes,
wild man?
Come, my boy. Mount that. Give me that head. Let's put it on a spike. It's a big spike, and then it's like,
let's just get that head on a spike for you, right?
Let's get that head on a spike for you. And then he leads you in, and you step inside this tent, and it's very TARDIS-like, right? You step in a tent, and it's even bigger than you think. And this is like it is like the hall of a prince. This is, gilded tapestries flowing down. There is an enormous table that seems to stretch on forever, laden with fruit and vegetables and strange baked goods that you don't fully recognize, made of unusual materials and all this kind of stuff. There are chairs of woven wood, all painted red and gold. Everything here is exceptionally abundant and ostentatious and kind of a little gaudy in many ways. This is like going to medieval times. We're talking that level of like kind of campiness going on. The goblets are all like bright polished gold where they kind of don't look real. It's just like, oh, okay. But you guys can spend a short rest here if you like. If you would like to take a short rest. For Azara and Agnis, you are brought like clothing of like Feywild noble clothing, basically like these elegant gowns of rich, satin and organza kind of fabrics that seem impossibly thin, but completely warming and covering, like just this perfect, like these beautiful otherworldly materials. You are given like a wreath of flowers and berries, like as a crown, bracelets made of wood, all painted in the red and gold colors, like just completely lavished upon, basically.
These are Agnes's colors. She's really into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is the first time Azara's ever been in something that's not a cool tone, but she's digging it. She's digging it.
I think they would probably try and find something for us, like maybe more of the gold rather than the red, like, because the maidens, there are many elven maidens and men as well who are kind of attending to it, and they have purposely like wouldn't ever dress you in something that wouldn't match. Like they find something that works for you, whatever to your taste would that be. But yes, you are basically provided the equivalent, by the way, of a hero's feast. Which, if you do not know, I will read this out for you. Hero's Feast. The feast takes 1 hour to consume, which is a short rest, and you get a benefit from it. The creature is cured of all diseases and poisons, which doesn't really matter. You become immune to poison and being frightened, and you make all wisdom saving throws with advantage. And your hit point maximum increases by 2d10, which I can roll for you now. This might not matter too much because I don't know if we'll have another fight in 24 hours. Basically, your hit points go up by 10. Your maximum hit points go up by 10. You get 10 extra hit points. And these effects will last 24 hours that you have these benefits. The food, the drink, it is beyond anything that you have tasted before. the most unusual flavors. Everything is rich and filling. The drink is light and refreshing. It's some sort of like fruit herbal mix, but it makes you feel as awake as if you've just had the most strongest espresso that you can imagine. Like it just pops your energy levels to maximum. And yeah, you are attended by physicians, who help you heal, bandage your wounds if you have any, all of that kind of stuff. And you are guests of the Summer King for a brief period of time. Now's a good chance if there's anything you want to ask His Majesty, as he has sent for something to be brought to him, which he just says is Clyve's winnings, is Clyve's spoils for the hunt.
Cool. Well, then, can I ask him questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Summer King, I wanted
Please,
to know.
My boy, call me Jahir. Call me Jahir.
Jahir, thank you. I have a couple of questions. I guess one that you would most likely be aware of. Do you know of the name Shadowbriar?
Shadowbriar. Do I know a Shadowbriar? And he turns like an attendant, and the attendant sort of thinks, "It's like we've heard the name, my lord. Yes, a dragon, we believe, in the mortal realm, but one who has had dealings with some of the other archfey. Not His Royal Eminence, I might add. You would find her manner a little distasteful, my lord." Oh well, there you go. I do know her, but I don't know her, if that makes sense.
Okay, sort of. Well, it seems as though she's scheming for Cormier. Mortal things, obviously. That
Cormier, that's where you're all from, isn't it? Yes, I sent Clyve there, yes. Are we at war with Cormier? Something like that, my lord. There are some engagements, some skirmishes. Some of their people have attacked the Feywild. We have reciprocated in kind. Seems fair.
Well,
sorry, my boy, you were saying.
No, that's what I wanted to talk about. It seems that this Shadowbriar is the one conducting those attacks. It's not actually the people of Cormier. She's trying to put a wall between us, or a fire, so to speak. So obviously, Clyve is with us, and hopefully that earns some trust. But any attacks or any ill will towards your kingdom is from her.
I'll tell you one thing, boy. She'll need a bloody big wall. I'm just a little joke. Well, I mean, listen, I don't speak for all of the other archfey. I am only the master of my realm. We'll spread word. We'll talk to our people. But, if there are other attacks, we're going to defend ourselves. And I can't be responsible for every young errant knight who wishes to go and champion their own glory. I can spread the word a little bit. And obviously I trust Clyve's companions. But if you had any proof of this, that would probably serve the other archfays a bit better. They're a bit more, what do you call it? Paranoid, I suppose. I don't really care. If you say that this isn't you, so be it. I believe you. But the others may need a bit more proof. So to speak.
Well, that's helpful. And the other thing, obviously,
So helpful.
You are a man
thank you, my dear. Thank you.
of great magic. I have been imbued with
a little.
Muscle
Great
magic.
That's what they say. Sorry, yes.
I've been tricked into a bond with someone, and I wanted to know if you knew of
You should be
anything
careful of
breaking. Well, yes, I will be from now on. I probably won't trust anyone. So, but anyway, I'm going to trust you now in asking, do you know of any way
Do you want to make a
break-
bond with me?
No, I just want this bond broken.
What? No.
I mean, if anybody does, I can make a pact. If you want some, I can help you. You want a little magic?
Would your
Little
pact
taste?
overwrite my pact? Like, can I not have?
Oh, if you've probably not, no. If you've already got a pact like that, no. Sorry, my boy. I get very distracted very easily. You want to break this pact you were tricked into.
Yes,
You're looking for a way to break it. Oh, breaking pacts. That sounds very magical, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, my lord. Yes, I believe that the young man is looking for some sort of magical solution to his problem. Could I cut out his heart? Would that work? Probably not, my lord. I think the mortals, that tends to kill mortals. Yes. Yes, it's tricky. Chop off his head? No, that won't work either. That will kill you as well.
And there are lots of ways to die. It's very sad.
Do you know what? I'm sorry, my boy. magic is it's a tricky thing here. Me bringing you all here, maybe you think of that as some sort of spell, but it's not really. I just sort of willed you to be here, and now you are. The bond. Clyve had some bond to you, and I pulled you from that. I'm more of a sort of warrior, really. I consider myself more of a fighter. If it's a problem that I can fight and I can do things like that, I could certainly help. There is other Fey beings who are far more magical than me, but what you're talking about, do you have what do they call them, Peter? Wizards, my lord. Yes. Do you have a wizard? Do you know of wizards in your realm that you can go for advice and research and magical knowledge?
We have some magical folk researching as well, but I thought I would ask
them. No, well, what I would say, my boy, is I would guide your wizards to look into. I don't like talking about her. We've got a bad relationship, but I would mention the Queen of Air and Darkness. She's a nasty piece of work, but if anybody in the Feywild has something that could sever a connection between two creatures, it'll be her. That's dark magic. That's dark Fey nonsense. That sort of trickery. But if that's what you're after, the Queen of Air and Darkness would be the place to begin.
DM, can I do an Arcana check on that to see if I've heard of that?
Yeah, you absolutely can, yeah. This is where I furiously Google the D&D knowledge of it.
Stop it.
What's wrong with you?
Stop it right now.
These dice are rigged.
This is insane.
Never stop using that die.
These are two different dice. These are two different D20s.
You're on a roll.
So technically altogether that's 27, but it is a nat 20.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
So you know everything about the Queen of Air and Darkness.
She and I are besties, actually.
We know a lot.
We go way back.
Right?
And you might need to ask your DM to remind you of all you know next week.
Okay, making a note.
More knowledge. There's a couple of things you know, right? The Queen of Air and Darkness is the sort of dark reflection of the Summer Realm. She's like the dark reflection of Queen Titania, who you assume is perhaps either the Summer King's some sort of like connection with them, or maybe they're the same. You don't know. But the Queen of Air and Darkness is the ruler of the Gloaming Court, and she leads the Unseelie Fae.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you would know that the Unseelie Fae aren't necessarily evil, but they are certainly more ruthless. They are sort of more bitter, prone to things like vengeance and cruelty, but they're not necessarily evil. They can be just like quite pragmatic. In the same way that people might say, same with Drow, right? Like not all Drow are evil, but there is certainly a push to it because of their divine worship. I'm just checking up on a few things. In terms of the Summer King's right. Like if anybody in the Feywild was going to have some sort of knowledge or power to break a pact, like in this way, like to purposely destroy a connection, she would probably be the person to go to. Her kingdom will probably be on the border between the Feywild and the Shadowfell. It's kind of like a twilight realm where it will be cold, it will be full of probably dark magic, tricky to get into, and you should certainly be careful of any bargains made with the Queen of Air and Darkness. And I will try and think of some more cool stuff, like how do you find her, and what other cool stuff can she do to reward you for such an incredible role.
I'll never roll a d20 again. This is my day. All of my luck is being sucked out right now.
And with that, sort of as you're thinking about that, Azara, another attendant, a kind of satyr woman dressed in sort of like with flower crowns and like long golden curls, she kind of like happily pops along, and she is carrying two things with her. She's carrying a large shield, and then in the other hand, like crooked under her neck, is almost like a mead horn, but it's capped. It has like a kind of like metal cap on the top so that the liquid doesn't come out. And she presents them to the Summer King, to Jahir, who says, "Ah, here we are. Your spoils, Clyve. Now, you mentioned you wanted something for to make these beasts bigger. Well, I present to you Illuvinor. This is a very rare liquid found here in the Feywild, my dear companions. A mere sip will make a beast or a plant grow in size. Now, there should be enough in here to enhance these flying cats or whatever you mentioned, several number of them, but it is limited. And this is very rare. This is all I have to spare, but it is yours for the taking, my boy. And I believe that for you, Cormyrians, I'm assuming this is something that Clyve has been searching for on your behalf. So please take this with my blessing. And he will hand that to whoever wants to take it. But the shield he takes in his hand, he's like, this is a special gift for my warrior. I wanted you to have this. When I saw you wielding a shield, you didn't have such a thing when you left my service. So think of this as a small gift from your patron lord. I present to you, Clyve of the Wildmane, the shield of Summer's Sun. And this is a kind of burnished golden shield with the emblem of the sun, with a kind of like red, ribbons tied onto the back of it so that they kind of drape down and they flutter in the wind. This is a magical shield. I will make it in D&D Beyond for next time. I haven't made it this week. I was watching a film before we did this episode, but this is a +1 shield, but also it has the benefit of it has 3 charges and it regains 1 charge each dawn. You can spend 1 charge to cause the shield to flare with brilliant sunlight, causing any creature within 5 feet of you to make a Constitution saving throw, or they are blinded until the end of their next turn. So you can use that for 1 charge, or you can spend all 3 charges to cast Sunbeam, which is a 6th level spell. However, once you've used it in that way, you, as the bearer, would have vulnerability to cold damage until the shield regains all 3 charges. So that'll be 3 days. So it's like you fire the Sunbeam and then you are left vulnerable to cold damage afterwards.
Cool.
And he presents this to you and says, like, think of this as a gift for your many years of service, my friend.
I love it. Thank you.
I hope so. I knew that I did not realize that you were a shield user, but it seems that you have put it to great use in the battle against the Jabberwock, so I wanted you to have it, my boy. And indeed, for you Cormyrians, I hope that this Illuvinor and these flying cats, what a marvel. I hope to see them someday, these flying cats.
You can come anytime. Come visit.
An invitation. Now, my dear, and he will kind of get on his knees and he takes your hand, Agnis. You should be very careful when offering such things to a fey being like myself, because now, well, I have the opportunity to come and visit you whenever I wish. I can find you and visit you whenever I would desire, even if you would not want me there. Now, I, being a gentleman and a majesty of the sun, would never do such a thing, but you should be very careful.
Okay.
I would not wish you to become harmed or at the mercy of some unseelie trickster or fiend.
There's some shady characters here.
Indeed, Clyve knows well. But I will be very glad to take upon your offer to come and visit your mortal realm someday.
Agnis just leaves her hand there, like.
I mean, yeah, he just like keeps holding it and like looks around. Now, you likely have your own world to get to. I will make sure that you have an escort of knights when you wish to return to your realm. But for now, stay, enjoy what you can. And we will enjoy your company. We will be departing on the morrow. But until then, you are free to explore the Feywild as you see fit. Or if you wish to stay longer, if I can offer you any service that I can, I would be glad to. And with that, we will end today's episode.
What a fun episode.
It was really fun.
Thanks, Mark.
I wanted to, like the Pixies were fun, but I wanted to bring you guys in because I knew like you would have questions for like the Summer King and stuff like that. So,
Summer King.
Agnis has a question. Agnis will get down one knee. Will you marry me, Summer King?
Was not expecting that. I'll be honest, Anna. I was like, well, okay. Sure.
I mean, I didn't know either. Agnis just,
Yeah. Oh, one thing.
Apparently.
This is like a little bit of out of game knowledge, but the Illuvinor, the liquid that he's given you, basically what that will do is it can basically make a beast or a plant up to 3 times its normal size. So for a Tressin, that would go from tiny to large, because it would go small, medium, then large. Once they're large, they are basically big enough to be used as mounts. So you have two options. You could leave them as just
Me and
as
Mica
they
have the
are,
same
as
face.
a big unit. You could leave them as like their own unit of just big beasts that you train for battle. Or with time and some money, you could turn your knights, like Alyssa's warriors, into Tressim knights. You could have like saddles and armor made for them, and that would be basically Eveningstar's most unique thing. Like you would be the only place in Cormyr that would have Tressim knights.
Yeah.
And the effect's permanent?
The size is permanent, yes. Like these would be permanently large beasts.
Okay,
but there's
so
only enough for like
here-
25-ish Tressim, which is what your unit is.
Right,
It's
but
about
hear me
25.
out. What if you give it all to one being?
If you give all to one bit, I will tell you, you can certainly try, Clyve, but the Summer King will warn you, if you give more than what the 3 doses, it will cause that creature or plant to explode and die immediately. Like they basically explode from the inside out.
Oh my god.
Let's not do that.
Let's
We
not
could
do
have had a
that.
dragon-sized Tressum though.
Gargantuan Tressim, where
That would
it's
be very amazing.
world crusher. But no, if you give it, if it makes it too much bigger, but it's also like in theory, you could get a tree, like a normal, mortal world tree, put 3 doses of this, and it would become giant. It would become like this gargantuan mega redwood that like is huge.
Tree fort?
It takes time,
Tree
but
fort.
Tree
yeah,
fort.
it's not like you can pour it and it instantly grows. It does take a few days for it slowly to grow, but yeah.
I'm surprised that your idea wasn't give it all to Clyve.
Hear me out. Clyve
Sadly,
turns
he is
into a
not.
giant
He is
beast.
not technically a beast or a plant.
No,
Doesn't work
Clive
on
was
humans.
thinking dragon-sized Tressum is what we want to ride into town.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But it does mean that all 4 of you, if you wanted to, you could you could have flying Tressim mounts.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That'll make travel so much easier. We just fly now.
And
Mhm.
freaking cool.
And freaking cool.
And very cool. Yeah.
Yep. Nice. Well, with that, let's do some shout outs. I know people are going to rush, so let's do some shout outs, and I will see you all next week. But yeah, let's go with Mica Burton.
Hi, I'm Mica Burton. You can find me everywhere at Mica Burton. Everything I'm doing is under NDA. Anna, go.
Oh my gosh, everything I'm doing is under NDA. Actually, I don't know if I can say what I'm doing. So follow my social media at Anna Prosser. It's also annaprosser.com for all of your Anna Prosser needs. I choose Nate.
I choose Shady.
Hi, Nate's my friend. I choose Mark.
Wow, you guys are all
Wait,
so
okay,
good at this.
now, well, okay, no, Shady's my friend, and then I choose Shady, then he said that, and now I
Wow.
choose Mark.
Wow.
Okay.
Here's an idea. I'm everyone's friend, and you're all my friend, and we're all
Aw.
friends together.
Aww.
We play D&D, and it's great.
Mark, I could watch you play D&D somewhere else, couldn't I?
You can, thanks, Anna. You can watch me run more D&D on my D&D show, High Rollers D&D. We are so close to having our physical studio finished. I really hope that we can get that out this month and go back to playing in person for that. So that's going to be very exciting. Big, epic, high-level sci fantasy campaign that we run each week. The players are level 17 in that, and they are literally currently trying to hunt down a giant Magitech anime mech. That is what's going on in that campaign. It's awesome. You should go watch it.
But Mark, you guys are in a totally different time zone. If only it were at a convenient time for us US viewers.
It's perfect, Nate, because it's at 5 p.m. UK time on a Sunday, which means it's 9 a.m. Pacific on a Sunday or midday for
Whoa.
Eastern time.
What a great way to spend Sunday morning.
It's almost like I've said that before, but it's so good. I'm going to use that every week. Thank you very much. That's it from us. I'm not going to plug any more of my own stuff, so I always feel bad when it's just me doing it. But thank you very much. I will see you all very, very soon. Take care. Big love. Bye-bye.